At 12:30 a.m. local time, Bojitkovo, Russia, 120 miles from the Kremlin. Igor Sechin, Russia's oil king, is about to face Putin's earth-shaking fury because he had just received news that Ukraine had launched a 2-pound warhead to destroy Russia's $3 billion oil pipeline. The Ryazan-Moscow pipeline is the steel artery of Russia's war machine. This 120-mile-long artery pumps 1.2 million barrels of refined fuel per day into Moscow, supplying an estimated 30% of the gasoline and diesel that keeps the Russian army's tanks rolling and its jets flying. To Russia, it's a $3 billion lifeline. To Ukraine, it's a single point of failure. And getting a drone this close wasn't a fluke. It's the final move in a game that started weeks ago. Ukraine's Military Intelligence Directorate orchestrated this strike like a master hunter. Fed a steady diet of U.S. satellite data, they mapped the pipeline's entire path, identifying this exact weak spot near Bojitkovo. By mid-August, the entire plan was locked hit at 12:30 a.m. when the late summer fog rolls in at a cool 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and the Russian sentries are fighting off their third cup of lukewarm coffee. Naturally, the Russians guard this thing like it's the last slice of pizza on Earth. On the operator's tactical map, the pipeline is a thin green line running through a terrifying spiderweb of red. That web is woven by Russia's best. The S-400 air defense system with its 92 N6E radar can spot a fighter jet 250 miles away at 40,000 feet, but it struggles with tiny drones hugging the ground at 130 feet. Backing it up is the Krasukha-4, a beast of an electronic warfare system that can blanket 190 miles in jamming signals. But here's the dirty little secret physics doesn't want the Kremlin to know. Those billion-dollar systems are designed to look up. The Ukrainian drone flying at 130 feet is hugging the ground so tight it's practically mowing the lawn. 11:15 p.m. August 25th, 2025. Russia-Belarus border. An hour before the strike, the first pieces of the chessboard began to move. Under the cover of darkness, Ukrainian operators launched a flock of 15 Mugen 5 decoy drones. They're basically plywood lawnmowers with wings each costing about $500. Their job was to fly loud, fly dumb, and die spectacularly, pulling the eyes of Russia's air defense network away from the real show. But this wasn't just a simple decoy run. At the exact same moment, a second, far more lethal wave of long-range Lyuty drones launched towards a completely different target, the massive oil refinery in Ryazan. This is where the real 4D chess begins, and it poses a classic tactical question for all you strategists watching. If you were the Ukrainian commander, would you risk your valuable long-range drones on a real secondary strike against the refinery, inflicting bonus damage but potentially losing them, or would you play it safe and just use them as a noisy feint to guarantee the main FPV gets through? Ukraine decided to go for the jugular on both. While all this chaos was unfolding in the sky, the real ace in the hole was already deep inside Russia. A beat-up unmarked panel truck looking like it belonged to a local bakery crept to a stop in a dense patch of woods just 12 miles from the Bojitkovo pipeline section. Inside, sitting in custom-built racks, were the two FPV REBOFF drones, each spooled with a 12-mile-long fiber-optic cable. This truck was a mobile launch platform, a Trojan horse on wheels. For the driver, every pothole was a potential mission failure. Every pair of passing headlights was a potential firefight. They sat in absolute silence, waiting for the signal, their mission to launch the final surgical strike once the S-400s were busy looking the other way. 12:05 a.m. Inside a concrete bunker buried 30 feet underground, a Russian radar operator's console lights up with alerts. 15 slow-moving targets are approaching from the northwest, the Mugen 5 decoys. At the same time, a second group of faster contacts appears heading directly for the Ryazan oil refinery. The crew responds by the book. The commander orders the Krasukha-4 electronic warfare system to full power. A massive bubble of jamming energy washes over the area, and the cheap Mugen 5s immediately begin to fail, their control links severed. On the screens, their icons flicker and die. The Panzer S-1 anti-aircraft systems engage the survivors, shredding them with cannon fire. Simultaneously, the powerful S-400 launchers freed from the decoy distraction fire a salvo of missiles at the refinery attackers, turning the inbound Lyuty drones into fireballs. Within minutes, every hostile target on the board is gone. It's a clean sweep, a perfect defense. But the Russian commander isn't celebrating. He stares at the tactical display, a feeling of unease growing. His systems had performed exactly as designed, yet the attack felt wrong. The decoy wave was too simple, too obvious. The refinery strike, while a real threat, was a predictable target. The entire operation felt like a brute force distraction. "It's a feint," he says, his voice cutting through the quiet bunker. "This is too loud. They're trying to make us look one way so they can sneak something in somewhere else." He turns to a map displaying all critical infrastructure in their sector. His eyes trace the green line representing the Ryazan-Moscow pipeline. It's quiet, too quiet. "Get an Orlan 10 in the air now," he orders. The Orlan is a small, quiet reconnaissance drone perfect for searching for low-altitude threats that the big S-400 radars might miss. "I want it sweeping the Bozhatkovo corridor. Tell the pilot to fly low and use his thermal camera. Anything moving under 200 feet, I want to know about it. Find me what they're trying to hide." The hunter had just realized he was being hunted. 17 hours. From the back of the truck, the first REBOFF drone slides out on a silent pneumatic rail and disappears into the 50-degree fog. Its small electric motor barely makes a sound as it begins its 12-mile high-speed dash to the target, unspooling a thin fiber optic cable behind it. Suddenly, a new icon flashes on the Ukrainian operator's screen, accompanied by an urgent proximity warning. It's the Orlan 10. The recon drone is already in the air, actively sweeping the flight corridor with its thermal camera, specifically hunting for a low-flying intruder. The Ukrainian operator doesn't hesitate. He pushes the stick forward, sending the REBOFF into a gut-wrenching dive, dropping its altitude until it's skimming just feet above the treetops. This is a high-stakes tactic known as terrain masking, using the rolling hills and dense forests of the Russian countryside as physical cover to hide from the Orlan's prying eyes above. This is no longer a simple bombing run. It's a deadly game of cat and mouse. Every open field is a death trap. Every river crossing is a moment of total vulnerability. The operator is flying blind, relying completely on his drone's onboard AI and thermal camera to navigate a pitch-black landscape at 60 miles per hour, all while being stalked from above. The REBOFF drone's only advantage is its unjammable connection. While the Orlan 10 is forced to communicate through the electronic chaos of the Krasukha-4, the Ukrainian pilot has a crystal-clear, lag-free 4K video feed thanks to his fiber optic tether. It's the one thing keeping him one step ahead of the hunter. The duel in the dark intensifies. The first REBOFF drone is a blur of motion weaving through the forest, but the Orlan 10 is relentless, sticking to it like a shadow. The Ukrainian pilot knows he can't stay in the trees forever. He sees a gap, a wide-open farmer's field he has to cross. It's a 30-second dash in a kill zone. He has no choice. The moment the REBOFF breaks cover, the Orlan's thermal camera gets a perfect unobstructed lock. The Russian operator instantly transmits the drone's exact speed, altitude, and heading to the Panzer S-1 battery miles away via an encrypted data link. Panzer's computer gets the data and calculates an intercept solution in milliseconds.